Oh, lock it in. Oh, lock it in, please.
Ezreal Akali as well.
The best thing about this was Caps on stream the other day was saying, I'm practicing my Akali to play it against Fnatic. And everyone, of course, thought he was joking, and then he locks it in.
Oh, this is amazing. TF comes in for Nemesis as well. Okay. I think we're going to be excited by every single pick. What I want you guys to do is talk to me about this team's mentality coming into the second ban phase. Where are we looking?
I mean, before we even look at the bans, I want to say how much pick potential is already there from Fnatic. The fact that you have two champions like Twisted Fate and Pyke, if G2, like, we talked about how quickly they play the mid game, how they are so skirmish and scrappy. With Twisted Fate and Pyke, if these guys are on clock, their ability to match that, to match the skirmish, to constantly be everywhere looking for picks is astronomical for Fnatic. I really like how these two picks work together.
I completely agree. Right now, the one thing that I'm missing from Fnatic is that engage tool. Things like the Jarvan, the Sejuani are all being banned away, and I wonder what direction Fnatic will look to go towards next. Because things like the Skarner are still up and available. If they want to try and keep the theme of pick-style champions, then I think that would fit very nicely. And we already saw last game how well it synergizes with things like the Karma.
I just think it's really hard to pick Skarner into Akali, Ezreal, Yuumi. Like, you don't really have a great target to hit there. While it does fill out the engage principles that they need, it would be really difficult for Broxah to play around.
Definitely agree with that. We see the Rek'Sai banned away by Fnatic. G2 holding on to this final ban, deciding exactly where they want to put it. It will be Broxah's Lee Sin.
They might force him onto it.
As you say, could be forced onto the Skarner here.
So I'm personally quite a big fan of it, largely because as someone that loves to play Akali, one of the things that Skarner often does is it forces you to stay in the Shroud a lot longer, because the moment that you reveal, you instantly get locked down by the Skarner. So I think that it just adds pressure, but it depends on like what direction they want to take, because it's a little bit more scaling. We have seen him bring out the Gragas before, and honestly, I think this pick just makes a lot more sense into the likes of an Akali because of how easy it is to knock her out of the Shroud with this set.
But it feels like they need to kind of round out their damage profile a little bit. For me, they're a bit AP heavy, depending on what Nemesis build path is going to be.
Yeah, could be the Trinity Force that we do see out of that mid lane TF, so still a bit of option for AD there. There's the Irelia as well, locked in for G2. So powerful in the solo lanes. Akali and Irelia will see what their jungle pick is. I mean, knowing G2, it could be the Yuumi for all we know. Expect it to be this pick now.
And we've been so Fnatic focused, kind of looking through their lens for this draft, but taking another look at G2, like Akali, Irelia. Most times when you see G2 pick up those champions, like, okay, book, case closed, it's over, guys. They got two of their best champions on two of the best players of Akali and Irelia in the world.
And Jankos locks in that early game jungler in Olaf. So the ability for them to trade in these early 2 versus 2s, very, very strong. I love the drafts that G2 have gotten themselves. It feels like massive comfort picks. And Fnatic, they will go for the Pyke Karma bot lane. I am excited. Expectations are that Rekkles will be on the Karma, Hylissang will be on the Pyke. He's going to be the main resource-focused player, and we'll see how well this team can utilize it. Fnatic adopting some G2-style philosophy.
And on the other side, it's actually quite standard as far as G2 compositions go. You have the incredible potential to run a 1-3-1 to play out those side lanes with both the Irelia and the Akali. I'm curious if PerkZ and Mickey are going to make that Yuumi count more for that Ezreal Yuumi bot lane than other LEC bots.
I will say, I think the Fnatic have a winning match up top with the renekton, especially early against the Irelia. I think the Twisted Fate versus Akali matchup I honestly haven't seen very often. But I can imagine that early game, Twisted Fate can actually be very obnoxious, especially with this just ranged harass up against the likes of Akali. And then the bot lane, I would argue that it's slightly more G2 favored, but when we talk about these solo laners for G2, I actually think that Fnatic are the ones that have a little bit more priority around those lanes.
What a game this is shaping up to be. Karma Pyke bot, Caps on Akali, Wunder on Irelia. Just give it to me all. Give me a smorgasbord of deliciousness, because this game is likely to live up to the hype. And I don't know what's better here, Vedius. I don't know if it's better that they're both undefeated. I don't know if it's better that the unofficial World Championship is on the line. I don't know what delicious morsel to pick out of all of the goodness.
The only thing I know is we're in for a fantastic game of League of Legends. It's G2 versus Fnatic. The crowd is hype, we're hype. Let's get into some League.
Battle lines have been drawn. Fnatic and G2 on Summoner's Rift once again. This will not be a minor fight. This will not be a boxing match. This is war, and G2 are setting up down towards the bottom lane.
We've got to talk about the level ones, especially when it comes to Fnatic and G2. G2, they showcased it in the finals of LEC Spring. They showcased it in the finals of MSI. They are creative in what they like to do, but Fnatic is no slouch either. Both teams just grouping up in these areas of the map, looking for potential picks.
Yeah, it feels like some scrims, maybe some communication back and forth, because both teams kind of expected something to happen, 5-man stacks on both top and bot side. But ultimately, where are we going to secure our jungle starts, and how are we going to hide information?
Take a quick breath. Let's have a look down towards the bottom lane. Rekkles on the Karma has a 100% win rate on it in the European, the LEC, or the EU LCS. Played against Schalke in summer 2018, but this is a very different beast.
Yeah, and to talk a little bit more about this duo in the bot lane, what I love about it is that the Karma adds that extra bit of wave clear. One of the things that Pyke can often struggle with is during the early laning phase, he naturally gets harassed. However, by having a Karma there, you just add that extra bit of pressure, but also that extra bit of mobility that just complements the Pyke that exceptionally well.
There's also the nice fact that in poke lanes like in Ezreal and Yuumi, Pyke can utilize his gray health mechanic, and he can actually stay relatively healthy and relatively up for battle in these lanes.
Interesting to see as well, Wunder playing mid lane here against Nemesis. We saw Fnatic pull out a mid-top switch last week. This time it's G2 doing it. Cap's trying to trade into Bwipo, but Bwipo's level 2 already. The Ruthless Predator, that's a lot of damage on Caps. Bwipo does not have the Ignite, but Caps is just forced away. Caps has to flash, the trace! Bwipo with first blood!
You're not mid lane anymore, buddy. That's top lane, and that's where Bwipo thrives. He's like, mid lane, top, I've seen it all.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Mickey has been ignited. Hylissang in the middle of that fight. Mickey goes in towards PerkZ with that you and me. Forces Rekkles and Hylissang back. There's the prowling projectile, but action all over the map already.
Fnatic coming out the gate swinging just like they did the last time that these two teams met. Finding that kill up into the top side of the map. Bwipo continuing to play forward in the lane. Just a massive mistake on the side of Caps. Not getting that level 2 was crucial, enabling Bwipo to find that kill. And now, in a matchup that's supposed to be easier for Caps, that's why they moved the Irelia to mid. That's why they tried to avoid it, is now being snowballed on by Fnatic.
And Broxah hunting here, has access to the flash. Remember, it's just a flash body slam to CC duration, and you'll pop Caps like a balloon.
Caps shows that against the kill, but Broxah's here. Against his former teammate, Broxah will get the second kill for Fnatic. Caps able to trade.
Bloodshed already continues to rain upon Summoner's Rift. Beautiful stuff from Caps there, punishing the over-aggression from Bwipo, but Broxah was there to pick up the kill.
But the key thing is the fact that Caps didn't have access to the teleport, so he'll be late back to the lane. It was a minion wave that crashed into him. This is now an EXP or a potential EXP advantage for renekton.
Take a breath, take a breather, because we're not going to have many of them in this game. Jankos trying to get into the mid lane. Broxah there in time, already aware that the counter gank might occur. Wunder forced underneath the tower. CS, of course, quite hard to tell from the scoreboard. It's 24-26 in that mid lane, 20-12 in favor of Bwipo up towards the top side, and Hylissang's doing his thing once again.
Now, some fans might be surprised that Jankos chose not to take that 1 versus 1. The biggest thing is look at Wunder's health and mana, and look at Hylissang.
Broxah still has flash. Hylissang on his way. Wunder has a flash of his own, dodging around, but there's the body slam. The CC chain! Lock him down, take him out, and Fnatic now have 4 players around the mid lane. Jankos chasing Broxah up towards the top side, but there's not much he can do in a 1v4.
And it's just so clean, and like you said, it was the fact that Broxah still had access to flash, and he didn't even have to use it right there, so the potential for even more gank setup. Meanwhile, top.
Caps just on the chase here. Bwipo trying to get away, but the auto attack is enough. Caps looking for the 5-point strike into the back of the alligator. Underneath the tower, not enough damage. And Bwipo escapes.
MVP
Jankos is flashing the flash. Whoa! What is this game, Jankos? Bwipo just absorbing all the pressure at the top lane. This is personal, Vedius. You can tell these teams have a vendetta against each other.
All I can imagine Jankos there was just going, no, immediately running away. Oh, God.
Okay. 5 minutes into this game, I want to bring up a very important stat. We've had a lot of bloodshed already. Fnatic are 1,000 gold ahead. Fnatic, on average, get further ahead than G2 before the 15-minute mark. It's between 15 and 20 minutes that G2 explode their lead.
It's about understanding that G2 are not the early game team. They are the mid-game team. Fnatic are the early game team. Their ability to play creative level ones, then how they control the map off of it is why they've been so successful. Whereas, as the analyst desk and as Vedi loves to talk about, G2's mid-game is insane.
Caps caught out once again, doesn't have the flash, no escape for him. He tries to dodge away with a shuriken, gets the movement speed, but Bwipo is on the chase.
Nemesis
still has the ultimate if he wants to join this fight. Caps just dodging around as much as he can, surviving for as long as he can, but you have to think Bwipo will get there with the chase. The Shroud use, Caps still dodging away, the belly bot comes out, and eventually Caps will fall, gifted over to Bwipo. 4-1 on the scoreboard, and we've only had 6 minutes of play. Hylissang looking for something in the bot lane as PerkZ dodges around. The hook does not connect, but Hylissang just forced away. Can use that passive just to regen some of the health as he dodges in towards the bush.
Great patience coming out from Broxah, going over the wall into the Baron pit and just waiting as Wunder goes in.
Broxah's in the perfect position every moment. Wunder tries to turn it back onto Nemesis, but Nemesis flashes away. Broxah brings down the cask onto the head of Wunder, and there's nothing G2 can do.
And once again, Fnatic find another early game kill. This early game is so heavily in their control that G2 are faltering at every turn. Beautiful stuff from the Fnatic squad.
I mean, frankly, I can't keep up with it. Broxah is everywhere.
Incredible stuff from the jungler from Fnatic. Has had a split that many people would aspire to have so far. Bwipo already level 6 as he forces Caps back into his Twilight Shroud, but the Ruthless Predator stun will connect. It's a war of attrition, and at the moment, Fnatic are winning.
This is not a war of attrition. This is guerrilla warfare. Both these guys are just non-stop attacking each other right now, and it is Fnatic that are constantly coming out on top.
I'm just kind of curious what it'll mean in the long run. Like, yes, they've picked up all of these kills, but, you know, nothing has broken quite yet. This is still able to swing back and forth. I think this lane is very scary. Caps are definitely playing with fire right now because Bwipo has
Jankos.
Jankos is on his way up. Broxah's here as well.
Still
Waiting in the
level
wings,
6.
has the flash. There's the ultimate. Caps looking for the chase, but is Jankos going to be able to do enough? Bwipo heals up, flashes away, and Caps is down. This is personal from Fnatic. Once again, Caps is dead 4 times. Another kill to Fnatic. 7-1 the scoreline.
And Wunder's now rushing up, but he realizes he's too late. G2 are playing on a knife's edge with this renekton, and they are getting cut to pieces by it. 3-1-2 right now for Bwipo.
Broxah is just such a monster. This guy is having an amazing game so far. We already said that he's in the right place at the right time, but it feels like that he is just, he's having like premonitions as to where Jankos is going to be. And even if he's not, he knows where he is, so he can just make a play on the other side of
You know what it is? He sees Caps in the game, he's like, I know what to do. I cap Caps. That's what I do. I just show up in his lane.
Well, this one looks personal for sure.
Oh, Wunder. Caps actually taking out Nemesis there in the mid lane. 3,000 gold lead for Fnatic, but Caps now on the board.
All right, so the swift swap comes right back around. Caps immediately back into the mid lane, says, you know what, I've had enough fun in games. I'm tired of fighting alligators. I want one-on-one. I want Trickster versus Trickster. And Caps comes out on top.
Whew. That's all I can say right now. It's just, you need to take a moment, you need to take a breather. Vedius, you need to give me your point because I'm going to run out of things to say.
So, if our observers could be so kind as to swap over to the gold so that we can see where the big difference is. Thank you very much, observers. Notice how the Akali right now is extremely far behind anyone. It is a whole 1,000 gold behind Nemesis. Finding that solo kill helped a lot, but the solo laners, who we talked up so much in the draft, right now are faltering, and their swap did not pan out in the early game.
And unfortunately, it's really hard to just kind of break these lanes and turn the game on its head. Normally, if you were really struggling, you could start to swap your bot lane around, but swapping into Karma Pyke is going to hurt, and it's also an Infernal, so they don't want to lose control over the bottom side of the map. So it feels like G2 are still kind of stuck in these lanes where they're playing 1-1-2.
Oof. Honestly, that was greedy from Nemesis. He should have just backed off the moment he saw the Akali. He did not think that this Akali could 1v1 him, but even after all the nerfs, you've got to respect Caps' Akali.
That you have. You can see what Cap sees. And so far this game, he's seen mostly a grey screen. Most deaths for him pre-15 minutes. Now, Bwipo up towards the top lane is going to get ganked by Jankos. Wunder on the chase here. Stun will land with a flawless duet. You can see Bwipo's just going to fall. This is great stuff from G2. Bwipo's still alive, and here comes Nemesis. Trying to catch on to Wunder, but Wunder goes into the bush, out of vision, and here comes Cap.
Oh,
all the way from mid lane. You can take my position, but I will take your life.
Caps, that was awesome! He lands the E just as Nemesis teleports in, and you just have Caps literally running across the map to follow him.
These are our two best teams in the league, and we are seeing a showcase of mechanical League of Legends.
Oh.
It is incredible to watch, and the question now becomes who is going to come out on top, because G2 have moved PerkZ and Mykix into the mid lane. They're going to get some plates. They're actually evening out that gold differential as well.
I just really hope our observers follow Akali's little legs as she runs all the way across the map to keep up with Nemesis. But finally, G2 answering back on the board. The goal gap is starting to close, and this is the thing. This was the big debate. Can Fnatic get an early game lead? Turns out, yes, they can. Can they hold it against the Titans of G2? That's the ultimate question that will determine this game.
Well, they still have plenty of playmaking opportunity. Like, now you have Hilly, who was unlocked. The fact that they got moved into the mid lane. Again, it just takes one pick. One Twisted Fate ult, one Hylissang ultimate, and Fnatic can really start to snowball this. So I feel like G2, at least for the last few minutes, will be playing slightly from the back foot.
Oh, here we go. We get the pro view, so he knows it's coming. He lands the E, and then we get to see the Akali. Oh, look at him go! Immediately shows up in the top lane and says, where do you think you're going?
Get back over here, kid. Pulls him back into the fight. Bot lane has been quite quiet throughout this game, and we haven't had to talk about it because there hasn't been too much action going on. You can see Rekkles and Hylissang getting chased out by Caps and Jankos. The undertow will connect as Jankos looks for the chase. Hylissang trying to dodge away, can't land the stun because of the Ragnarok. Caps still jumping in. Teleport behind them though as Fnatic wants to take the fight. Teleport was cancelled out as Bwipo stunned up with a flawless duet in the top lane. But that means Broxah can look for the gank. Wunder underneath the tower trying to dodge away. Flashes early. Broxah's still there. The slice and dice from Bwipo will chase him under the tower. There's another kill for Fnatic. Hylissang missed the death from below as the X didn't mark the spot of Jankos' demise. But Fnatic are still putting their foot on the accelerator.
But this is renekton still getting so many of these plates in the top lane. Bwipo is very strong right now, has completed Black Cleaver, and now he's going to be unlocked as he takes down this turret.
Fnatic don't slow down, even though G2 are trying to answer the aggression, and Wunder, he's got to be regretting that interrupt of the teleport right now, but ultimately in this situation it allowed the duo to get away with their lives. You talked about it earlier for us. You talked about, does it make sense to go for the swap? They're now moving Caps around the map a lot, deciding that it's better to put him in this 1 versus 2. But the safety that he has from the Shroud and his mobility, he should be safe and allowing PerkZ to actually get a lot of these plates in the middle lane, but it's not actually allowing G2 to gain any...
Oh my God! There's no way you should be able to hit that. Caps still able to get away, but Hylissang on the chase couldn't quite land the Tiamat. Hylissang, he's buying for the best Pyke in Europe. Caps trying
no way!
No way! Through the heart of our Spring Split MVP. He's died 5 times already this game. Wunder now looking for the flawless duet, lands it on 2, but doesn't want to jump the ball. The Vanguard's edge comes out. PerkZ on the chase as well. Hylissang maybe gonna go down. Here's the hook. Does not connect. Rekkles gonna flash the wall. Wunder unable to chase so far. Has the blade surge, but won't go in. And Fnatic get out alive.
Hilly's insane.
Hilly is too good.
And won the argument. Hylissang's the best part. Hylissang is the best part.
Oh man, that was insane.
Also,
what a great game.
The escape to allow Karma to get over the wall, the fact that he stayed using the E, making sure that they couldn't get him, just, oh.
Rift Herald here, used by Broxah in the mid lane. He has had such a good early game. Took the Infernal. Looking for this as well. The final chapter comes out from Mykix, but just to force Fnatic off. The mid lane tower does not fall. Always so important.
So we've got to take stock. Ultimately, Fnatic still in control of the game. They have a very healthy gold lead. Wunder, no flash. He's going to die.
Oh, the stun card lands. The X comes down. And Hylissang, second kill of the game.
And this is it. Fnatic pretty much have control over the majority of the map. They're the ones that get to move first. They're the ones that get to make plays because of all this extra gold that they have. With the top tower down, renekton is now moving around, and now they found Jankos.
Yeah, Hylissang has to, Jankos has to burn his ult, but Hylissang, his life is forfeit. Jankos takes the kill, Mykix dodging around as much as possible. That's a bit of an overstep from Hylissang.
And G2 not taking any steps back, showing that they're still there to fight. I think that Broxah held the ultimate a little bit too long there. I think he might have been able to disengage, but obviously trying to play around the Ragnarok. I need another look at it.
Honestly, I just think that Hylissang wouldn't be Hylissang if he didn't make the best and worst play within a single game. You know what I mean? So I definitely think Hylissang killed himself a little bit there. But you know what? It's fine. It's Hylissang. He's still a great Pyke player.
Is it fine giving any sort of gold back to G2?
I mean, that's the debate, right?
I want to talk about that though, because we are getting to that 15-minute mark. Fnatic 3,000 gold ahead, but this is where G2 tend to accelerate their games.
This is when a switch evokes in G2 and it says level 2 has been activated. Can it shut down Bwipo?
Bwipo's gone very deep there, still able to get away. The flawless direct to stun him up. Here's Pyke. Hylissang gonna land the skewer. onto Jankos, but takes a bit of damage in return. Not enough damage to follow that up there, as Rekkles will just get his Sightstone activation as they run away.
I know that G2 are keen, and they are lucky that this is a Cloud Dragon, but I do think that they need to be a bit more patient here. They're still waiting for some key items to come around, so they need to wait for the perfect moments to look for these picks. Just give yourself, 5 minutes, and then you can start running at Fnatic again.
I don't know if G2 like to wait, bro.
I know, but they need to. Look at the itemization complete on Fnatic's side versus what Ezreal's pulling right now.
And I want to draw attention once again to the goal, because it is the solo laners from G2 that are so far behind. Just notice the difference between Bwipo, Nemesis, and Wunder and Caps. Props to Jankos for actually staying relatively even with Broxah, even throughout this entire chaos. And the bot lane is kind of the saving grace right now for G2, because they've been free farming and they've been picking up a lot of plates. So it's still not over yet for G2. We always have to bear that in mind. Even though Fnatic have full control and they're the ones that get to dictate a lot of the plays around the map, what's important for G2 is, as you say, Frost, they buy time and get their solo laners back and relevant in the game.
And it is a perfect example of that right there. The fact that they were able to trade objectives. Wunder getting all of that free time up into the top lane does take down that top lane tower. Bot, though, is dead.
Yeah, Bwipo just kills Caps in the bot lane. That was Broxah lending a helping hand, and Caps has died 6 times this game. There's the final chapter used in the mid lane, trying to stun up Hylissang, gets the hook onto Wunder, pulls him back underneath the tower, death marks the spot, but it's not enough damage as Hylissang just has to run away. Nemesis now caught out by Jankos, has to flash the wall. Hylissang trying to clear out the wave as much as he can, because here's Broxah, the knockback on Wunder, but Wunder dodging around with the Vanguard's edge and back in. 2 kills to Fnatic. Bwipo on the chase here as well, as the battle rages in the Fnatic jungle. Bwipo coming in, Jankos trying to get onto Nemesis PerkZ, almost dying up towards the top side as he will go down. Wunder dies, Jankos dies, PerkZ dies, Mykix dies, and G2 lose 4.
And Fnatic get themselves the delayed ace. This was just pure greed from the side of G2 because of this play. Caps dies in the bot lane. Fnatic can move from bot up towards mid, and G2 are just staying way too long.
But it's also the fact that G2 thought that they could burst quick enough that they could make the most of the fact that Fnatic sent those resources bottom. But here's where the greed gets real.
Yeah, they just stick around way too long. They don't respect the rotation from Broxah and Bwipo, and just all 4 members, they can't get out of this situation. Beautiful ultimate from the side of Broxah. And G2, they just collapse under the sheer weight of Fnatic.
Also, credit to Fnatic's ward line. If you go ahead and take a look at the minimap, you can see that line, that straight path from bottom to mid lane has been completely lit up by Fnatic. Chances are that G2 might have assumed that they went for the reset in the back and didn't know exactly where they were when they were transversing from bot to mid.
Okay, let's take a breath. 18 minutes in, 6,000 gold lead for Fnatic. You've got Duskblade already finished on towards Pyke. Hylissang in such a strong position. Nemesis has his Trinity Force, has a Wit's End to back that up, so that's a bit more AD. We worried about the ability power damage coming out from Fnatic. They have some physical as well. Hylissang jumps across the wall. That's greedy. The final chapter comes out. We'll root him up, but he's invisible at the moment. Gets taken out by Caps. Broxah now in the front line as Caps just dodges forward. Mykix healing him up, but he tries to dodge away. He's rooted in place. Stunned up by Bwipo. Broxah jumps the wall now, knocks PerkZ back, but they can't quite find the connection. And Fnatic's just pushing forward their line here. Wunder slowed up with the red card.
Ultimately, a 1-for-1 between the 2 teams, but Fnatic are the ones that have priority right now. They have a minion wave alive. That tower is very low. Can be a little difficult to see.
Bwipo just flashes in and takes out PerkZ! Kills him with the Ruthless Predator, and Fnatic are hungry for blood. They're on the hunt. Destiny comes out, but Nemesis chasing onto Caps. He took his spot. He'll take his life. Fnatic are destroying G2.
It is a solo queue game. That renekton is 9-2-2 at 19 minutes in this game. He has Black Cleaver and Spear of Shojin complete. His ability to 5v5 when he pops his ultimate and gets into the middle of it, he's going to get multiple stuns off. This guy does ridiculous damage.
The crowd is erupting right now as Fnatic are truly obliterating G2. The mid game is fully in their control. This is what a snowball looks like. And this is a little aggressive from Hylissang. He dives in without any vision. He gets collapsed on by G2. But this is when the misplay comes out. Mykix jumps off as Caps goes out. This leaves Mykix in an awkward position as he then gets stunned up by Bwipo, and that interrupts the dash. Wunder then can't get into the fight, and then we start to see some of the poke come out from Nemesis, from Rekkles, and then Bwipo just dives underneath the tower, takes the remaining health bar from PerkZ, and there's just nothing he can do about it.
Also key there that he got the summoner, so PerkZ only
Dodges away
relying
from
on
the
E.
flawless duet as well. Like, that is absolutely beautiful play by Bwipo, and the chase down onto Caps in the end is incredible. It almost feels like G2 are shell-shocked. They're not used to being this far behind at this point in the game, so they're making plays they usually would, but Fnatic are just answering.
You say that, this is a mirror of what happened the last time they met. And the moment with which G2 turned the game around was their base defense.
That's true.
Fnatic dived the tower. Their siege is ultimately what faltered the last time around. And you look at this comp again, their siege is not the best. You're kind of relying on a Baron and splitting up the map to be able to successfully break into the base of G2. And so G2 are kind of relying on that fact. They're relying on the fact that Fnatic can still make mistakes in this game.
And in short, it is full steam ahead for Fnatic is what it feels like. Whereas G2, again, have to pick their moments perfectly or it's game over.
Second Infernal of the game. Hylissang straight onto PerkZ, gets the slow. PerkZ will try and jump away. Hylissang almost out. There's the Destiny in and the teleport as well. Fnatic won the fight. PerkZ is dunked. Second kill as well. Follows up. Rekkles takes down Mykix. Jankos trying to get away, but the gold card is locked in. And there's laser sights on Jankos. Fnatic get 3. Caps on the backside of this Baron, maybe trying to play spoiler as Fnatic look for the objective.
With the jungler dead, that should be a free Baron, and the objective we were just talking about that Fnatic would want gets delivered to them on a silver platter. G2 falter, Fnatic continue to stomp.
I mean, barring some miracle, I think that this might be it. Fnatic just ripped G2 apart in this best of 1.
G2 have been miraculous in the past, but at the moment, Fnatic have 3 times as many kills as them. They have an 11,000 gold lead. They've got double Infernal, they've got Cloud, and they have the Baron. I want to tell everyone watching at home and everyone here in the studio after this game, Caps and Rekkles will be joining QuickShot and Endo on post-game lobby, but let's have a look at this replay.
So, Hylissang catches out PerkZ, and then a Nemesis ultimate along with the TP are very quick to follow. Fnatic collapse as a unit almost immediately, and with the Ragnarok disappearing from Jankos, it was easy for Fnatic to know, take the jungler out, there's no smite, that's a free Baron, that means that the game is pretty much ours for the taking.
I think it is about then shaking expectations. Fnatic as a playstyle in the community are talked about being kind of this lumbering team that they hit you with a team fight, then they roll you over. This Fnatic is matching tit for tat against G2 style. They are playing that creative, aggressive, quick tempo game.
And the only team that could do this against G2 was SKT. Whenever they found an early game lead at MSI, those were the games where G2 were losing. In order to beat this team, it showcased that not only do you have to get an early lead, but you have to hold it. You have to retain it, or G2 find a way back in. And Fnatic have done that flawlessly. Yes, they still have to take the Nexus, but the way they're playing this early game is phenomenal.
And a lot of that falls on the back of Broxah as well. There were question marks in the offseason as to whether he would be the starting jungler with Dan coming into the team, but he has shown us across the last 3 splits that he is still one of the best, if not the best jungler in the LEC right now. He set his team up for success so well. He was all over the map in the early game, and he's pushed G2 back so well.
And now we see the classic Hylissang split push with the Baron. He does this when he's on support. Now he's one of the big carries. He's generating so much pressure as Fnatic split up the map.
He's got the Tiamat, he has the mobility, he has the Baron buff, like you said, he can sit there and then very quickly collapse to his team if need be.
Inhibitor tower going to fall here in the bottom lane. 23 minutes in, G2's base is broken. The inhibitor short to follow, you have to feel, and G2 unaware of how to defend here. They're looking at keeping their players around mid. Fnatic take down the inhibitor 24 minutes in. They have broken open all of G2's base, and now G2 have to find a way to defend.
I mean, I guess the nice thing is that if Fnatic don't end it here, I'll hold it, because maybe they do.
There comes the Destiny, PerkZ flashing away, but caught in the stun card and the follow-up! Just deliver the kills to Fnatic. Caps trying to dodge around here, but Hylissang's on the chase. The stun card connects, and now Mykix is fed to the wolves. I mean, Fnatic take a 3rd kill.
They basically opened up their mouth and Broxah said, here comes the airplane, and just spoon-fed it in.
Fnatic dominated the early game. They ripped through the solo laners of G2, and they are looking to establish themselves as the current best team in the LEC.
Caps said G2 wanted the 18-0. Fnatic said not today. The Nexus tower falls. Wunder trying to do what he can to defend. He's down now. It's only Jankos left alive, and no one can survive versus this Fnatic team. They're on to the Nexus. Jankos and PerkZ trying to defend.
PerkZ still alive. They get the kill.
Bwipo down. It's all on PerkZ. Needs to get the damage in. It's Nemesis and Rekkles. Teleport coming behind them now as PerkZ goes in. Mykix stepping forward. Rekkles so low. The Nexus not going to fall, and Caps has the flank. G2, the base defense holds once more, but Caps almost gets clapped by his former teammate. He's almost getting down to the minions. PerkZ dodging around, Broxah goes golden for the moment. Can't quite get the kill on PerkZ. G2 able to survive for the time being.
But that said, they lose their mid. It's just the last mid inhib standing. No Nexus towers, 2 open lanes, and a mountain dragon about to spawn.
Surely there is no way G2 can come back into this game. They have an exposed Nexus, they have 2 inhibs down. Fnatic have a Twisted Fate, and he's an AD Twisted Fate who's just gonna melt through that Nexus if he gets an opportunity.
They have Hylissang Pyke.
They have Hylissang Pyke, but yes, this was a great last-ditch defense from the side of G2. Jankos just runs in. Great burst damage coming out from PerkZ as they obliterate the front line, and with little mana left on the side of Fnatic and low health bars, they've clearly overcommitted here. So their Baron goes down, Cass gets a good flank off, and G2 get to buy a little bit more time.
I think the only thing that can be said is that surely there's no way Fnatic lose this, but G2 will make them work for it.
Oh man, what a great game. But what made the last game so monumental was the way in which G2 came back into the game.
Just do it, that would be amazing.
Fnatic are making this game so much more one-sided.
So I do want to point out the vision that G2 have actually placed down here. They, like Vedius and I, are talking about Twisted Fate and Hylissang. They need to make sure that they have vision that not only protects them to get access to their immediate waves, because let's be honest, they cannot leave their base, but it's also then checking so that no one slips in underneath them to get into a backdoor for the Nexus.
Well, Hylissang's going for it.
Gold lead. Hylissang going for it, as you say. The Destiny comes in as well, and Nemesis is
there
on
it
the
is.
Nexus, looking for the win here. Fnatic do to G2 what G2 have done so many times before. They obliterate them.
Fnatic with a dominating performance over G2 eSports. What a great game from them. They didn't throw it this time. They found themselves the Baron. They won in 26 minutes. What a great game.
And no, it's not a best of 5. It doesn't automatically make Fnatic the best team in the world, but the absolute certainty here is you must respect them. You have to be afraid. G2 can bleed, and Fnatic are back.
But also, Frosk, Europe has some pretty amazing teams.
Dear God,
We're the best region in the world, Vedius.
Oh man, this only builds more hype for Rift Rivals. Both of these teams will be going next week. It was excellent to watch. Broxah 9-1-11 scoreline by the end of that game. His early game was just amazing. It was truly amazing.
It was beautiful to watch because he was everywhere at the same time.
Hey, and supports, they don't get enough recognition. Rekkles, you're a really great support